Yeah, it's been a great trip. We spent over a week traveling up, probably no more than 100 miles each day.
Okay, so here we are at Fort Macon State Park. It's just outside of Atlantic Beach on Emerald Isle, Crystal Coast. Not even officially into the Outer Banks yet, but it was a part of North Carolina we haven't explored yet and wouldn't pass up the opportunity to see it. We had just finished camping at Hammocks Beach State Park, maybe 20 miles away, and had a good camp night. This is the fort part. Really a beautiful well-preserved fort. We had a lot of fun exploring. It's very bright, I would say, in terms of some of the old forts that I've been to. Yeah, we had just had phenomenal weather most days, that beautiful ocean breeze, and it's not yet terribly hot out. Very windy up here. I had to mute some of the wind sound from videoing, but yeah, it was really fun to walk around the fort, and the beach here had some of the best shelling on our entire trip. I had a lot of fun finding some shells here at Fort Macon State Park. Highly recommend. All right, now we get into the charming little town of Beaufort, not to be confused with Beaufort, which is in South Carolina. Beau in the know, or north. Lots of big yachts, lots of wonderful big boats. They're right on the water. I really liked Beaufort. We were here 2 nights. Originally, I had booked a tour from the ferry system out of Beaufort to go to Cape Lookout, but they didn't meet their minimum passengers, so we were rescheduled to go out of Harker's Island, which was about a 30-minute drive from where we were, which worked out just fine. I think maybe, not even a quarter capacity on our ferry boat out there. It's just a really big pontoon with, maybe capacity for 30-40 people on the passenger ferry going to Cape Lookout. But looking around here, that was the one little public dock of Beaufort. Most of the docks said unless you were a resident or guest to stay off the docks, which I guess is understandable. We did drive up, I think it was called Dock Street, maybe Front Street, all the way to where the public marina was when we first got into town. Very cute, very charming. We ended up eating dinner here at Viet Street Eats, I think it was, the second night after Cape Lookout. Delicious, delicious food. Okay, so here is coming into Cape Lookout, which, yes, was the highlight of my trip. I'll just let you see for yourself how much I enjoyed it. Instead of doing a 5-hour tour, we just took the ferry direct from Harkers over to Cape Lookout, which was, I think, the highlight of my trip. Your hang gliding instructor asked us what's been our favorite part, and I think Cape Lookout has definitely been the highlight of my trip, my favorite part, taking the ferry over there. The way it worked out with the weather, it was misty and a little watery going over there. I didn't know if it was going to be rainy. And it stopped raining and it was just overcast, beautifully cool. We had the beach to ourselves. And yeah, then going from there, taking the ferry out of All right, here is a sign that actually says the Outer Banks National Scenic Parkway. So all that, I guess, wasn't even driving the Outer Banks until we took the ferry from Cedar Island to Ocracoke, which was, I think, 2 hours, 15 minutes. We had a reservation at 10 a.m. for $15. I made the reservation well in advance, and the rain that morning delayed it 45 minutes. It was very, very rainy. I was ready to book a motel in Ocracoke if it was raining, if it continued to rain as much as it did that morning. But luckily, it stopped, it cleared up, and we had a beautiful night camping. Also, as I go over the budget, booking a place last minute was not ideally cheap. Definitely when there's no chain places, which I'm fine with. I like supporting local, but sometimes you're gonna pay a little bit more for it. So anyway, camping turned out just fine, but it was a little cold up here. There wasn't many passengers in the top deck of the ferry. I think there was a couple of families on the bottom one. I think capacity for the ferry was maybe 40 or 50 vehicles for the car ferry. At least this one in particular, going from Cedar Island to Ocracoke. The one going from Ocracoke to Cape Hatteras seemed like it was smaller capacity. There was not a lounge for the passengers. Who, that guy? I don't know. His family has to. Go. But another cool thing about Hatteras is it's a dark sky park, and the stars were beautiful. If there wasn't so many bugs at night, I would have stayed out looking at them a lot longer. But man, very beautiful sky on Hatteras. And Ocracoke, which is part of the greater Hatteras National Seashore.
Honestly, for the whole Outer Banks, out of all the places, out of all the places that really kind of were my vibe and feel, I feel like Ocracoke was probably the place, which I feel like is probably a lot of people. It's a very small, tight-knit community. It's logistically hard to get to, which makes it even the more kind of like the hidden gem, I think.
Sunrise on Cape Hatteras National Seashore, not a bad way to wake up. Cedar Island to Ocracoke. Ocracoke, yeah, that is special. That little village, and being able to camp on the seashore. Oh, that was also magical. Although it's what, day and a half later, and my legs are still itching from bug bites from that campsite. So
yeah, we had
comes with the territory. All right, here's the budget. Gas and ferry $228.79, lodging $1292.59, food $554, entertainment $150. I go way more into that later on. Souvenirs $23.50. Total spent $2,249.88. Not bad. While I am aware that we drive a small subcompact SUV, a Subaru Crosstrek, for any bigger of a family than our family of 3, might be a little snug. But we had a pretty low to reasonable gas budget. And food, I brought $120 worth of groceries from home for the car, so I wouldn't be getting snicky snacks all the time at the gas station like I have in the past. We camped for 4 nights, which also brought our lodging bill down considerably. And it keeps the food costs down when you're camping and you can't just run to go get whatever you want. But mostly just not indulging in instant coffee all the time from the coffee shop or snacks, and really being mindful of when we go out to eat. Helped keep our food costs considerably down to less than $50 a day. I also credit that to eating a lot of our breakfasts at hotels that don't serve breakfast, and getting yogurts, cereals, milk, fruit whenever we could at a grocery store, and keeping them in the little mini fridge at the hotels or in our cooler when we were traveling absolutely keeps our food costs down. We almost always picnic lunched. I used to kind of think differently of it. Not that I ever scoffed at a picnic lunch, but I travel way more on a budget as a family than I used to as a single person. I travel a little bit different, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So this is the little town of Manteo on Roanoke Island, and it was just adorable. Very historic. Felt like something out of England. Maybe. I've never been to England, but it seemed to have real old world charm, and it was adorable. We were able to spend 2 nights here. This was the first night, so rolled in on a Thursday night, and then checked it out after we checked out of our hotel on Saturday morning. Later on you'll see when there was the farmer's market, and thought it was just adorable. I could absolutely see myself spending some more time here. Okay, so here we are rolling up to Wright Brothers National Memorial. It was a pay site. I do have my veteran lifetime pass to all national parks, and was able to get in with my pass at no charge. And I think it was the only pay site along the trip. It was busy. It was crowded. I'm glad I visited. But there was tour buses, was it a Saturday that we went? Maybe we went on a Friday. And I also didn't realize that you could drive to the there's a second parking lot. You could drive to kind of the base of where the memorial is, and as you see here, we walked from the visitor center to the memorial, which took maybe 10 minutes. It was a decent little walk, but it was also an experience seeing how much distance the first 4 flights were covered when they were successful with their first 4 flights in December of, let me guess, 1917? Something right around there. Also, there's an interlocking stamp that the National Park System has with a museum, I believe it's a museum in Dayton, Ohio, where they're from. So I look forward to visiting there and getting the other interlocking stamp. So it was great to visit. We were there maybe 90 minutes, which included most of the walk. I didn't really get a chance to read much in the museum because I was with Olive by myself while Scott was hang gliding at nearby Jockey's Ridge State Park, and there was a lot of people. So even if I did have somebody helping me watch my child, I still don't know if I would have gotten to read everything on all the displays in the museum, but it was fun just to walk out there and see where they took off from and how far they went. This is Jockey's Ridge State Park, the Mountain to Sea Trail marker for the end of the trail in North Carolina. I think it goes to the Smoky Mountains or near Asheville, and that would be a really, really fun trail to do someday. This is where we found Scott right before his last flight of the day of his 5 hang gliding flights.
Scott was doing this morning. Probably from over here. I don't know where he is now. If they're together or taking a break or what. Oh, probably up there. I see some hang gliders.
What's our cat?
Okay. Alright. Do our own pace. With a 4-year-old, I don't expect too much.
Pretty good, actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Any other?
It's very interesting. I can't explain. I tried
You
to
just
grip
gotta
too much,
experience
I need to
it?
relax. It's pretty cool.
Well, I hope we can see you in flight.
One of them, right?
Yeah.
Look ahead, use your channel long, do it quick, like 1 or 2 phrases.
The way up past Duck. Oh, and I made it to Dunkin' Donuts with 1 minute to spare. Got my donuts for tomorrow. Okay, so these were definitely worth the hype. I think one was called Sunrise on the right with lemon, and on the left, the beach tasted like a state fair mini donut. So 8 days basically to cover the Outer Banks. But yeah, right now I'm just going over what I spend on entertainment, which is basically zero. Entertainment and shopping, basically zero. Our entertainment is walking. As you can see, we walked 12,000, 14,000 steps a day on average. Here I like to pick up the local brochures to the different places, the park brochures, the pamphlets, read those as entertainment. It gives you some ideas of good restaurants if you didn't already come across them just driving through or walking by them. We really only went out to maybe 3 restaurants. As you can tell with our food budget being less than $50 a day, that was because I brought $120 worth of groceries for the car, for the hotels, for breakfasts, and for the days that we were camping, which was 4 days. Stamping is a big passion of mine, collecting all the park stamps. I like planning the trips. I love when it's a stamp day. So I added 7 stamps to my book that I didn't already have, which 6 were new trips, new parks to me. The Congaree was the only park I'd already been to, but I didn't have my stamp book when I went there almost 5 years ago. Shelling, free. Love looking for shells on the beach. As you can see, found 2 shark's teeth in topsail. I was hoping to find more, but they weren't terribly big anyway. I always try to hit up the thrift stores whenever I'm at a new place, which also, for me, has been a new souvenir, is getting used socks at the thrift store. Sure, I could look for a local t-shirt. Some places have them sorted out for their local stuff. But I don't need another t-shirt. I don't really need socks either, but I am adding crew socks, especially printed ones or with a little fun pattern to my sock rotation. And I got 4 pairs of socks for 50 cents. Not a bad deal. One was smart wool. I mean, those are like $30 new or more. They said 50 cents each, and then she only charged me 50 cents for 4 pair. So that's been my little souvenir on trips. I'm cheap and thrifty. I spent $9 on myself on 4 postcards and 1 sticker at the bookstore in Manteo. It said it was a sticker that was designed by a local artist. $5. I used to buy a lot more stickers on my trips. I have a whole collection that I think is definitely underappreciated, underserved for me. It's a pretty cheap collection. Collecting stickers, maybe you put them on your water bottle or your car, or I don't know, a laptop, something else. I've definitely cut back on my sticker collection. So $9 on newly produced things, not too bad, and $12 on this adorable little children's book, which is probably a year or 2 younger than my 4-year-old is designed for, but it was so cute I couldn't pass it up. I think it's adorable. Total souvenirs was what, $23.50, and entertainment total budget, all the free museums that we went to. A couple of them I threw a couple bucks. They almost always have a donation box, a cash box, or a code you can scan to cash out them. Some I put a couple bucks in, some I didn't. But other than that, our family entertainment budget was $150 for Scott to go hang gliding. And yeah, if I didn't have my daughter, I probably would have joined him. I wasn't itching to go. It looks like it would be fun. He talked about it. I enjoyed watching him do it. And yeah, not bad for entertainment, souvenirs. Yeah, that's about it. This is driving up through Currituck County, north of Duck, all the way to Corolla Lighthouse, Currituck Lighthouse, the little village of Corolla. It was a beautiful day. It was a nice drive visiting up there and seeing the very northern part of the Outer Banks. Olive did not want to go into this museum, so Scott took her to a nearby playground, and I got to enjoy seeing this maritime village, the fishermen, the boats, the history of their duck hunting. It was a very nice museum. It was very enjoyable.
So cool.
Just because I think it's just like, it's not on the seaside, you don't get that population. This is more like a live-in community, people live here and work here. So
That'll be fun to visit tomorrow. I think they have a bookstore. We're just gonna sleep in, take it easy. It's been really nice to rest here in Roanoke Island for 2 days and enjoy the space. As you can see, we have this extra room in our hotel. It's like a suite. So yeah, I've really enjoyed today and being here on Roanoke. It's like the cherry on top of our Outer Banks visit.
I think in all the world, the like abundance is not
Fort Raleigh on Roanoke Island. This is the Victorian room that was transported from England. It was a nice little museum.
a very handsome and goodly people.
And
And in their
it
behavior
was a fun
as
park to
mannerly and
visit.
civil as any of you, you may
I
come
especially
from.
liked
In faith,
the Lost
they
Colony
made contact with us. They
theater.
appeared in boldness, with no
Would
show
love
of
to
fear
see a
or
play
doubt.
there.
They entertained us with kindness and with
If I was told,
It does feel cold because that's rock. Rock has a different temperature than the ground.
cool.
Can you walk in here? Okay, but do not climb. For the earthworks.
Don't climb the hillside, okay?
dance moves, Olive.
Alright.
This is so beautiful.
Saturday morning farmers market in Manteo, Roanoke Island. This is Jockey's Ridge State Park on the Soundside. They have a little beach. As you can see, people were enjoying some kite surfing, and yeah, it was really fun to watch. It looks like it would be fun to try. A huge amount of skill to learn and master, but it was a tiny little beach, but it seemed well protected to do activities like this, and it was quite enjoyable to spend our last day here after we had checked out of our hotel at the beach. So, Scott, how do you feel about this being our last night on the Outer Banks?
Good question. Yeah, it's been a great trip. We spent over a week traveling up, probably no more than 100 miles each day, traveling up the Outer Banks.
No.
Elizabeth City is about an hour
City, our last little.
on, I guess maybe they call it the Inner Banks. I did see some signage that said IBX and Inner Banks. About an hour outside of Nags Head, driving north of Kitty Hawk, inland, and it was an adorable little town. So we stayed here for the night to set ourselves up, driving to Congaree the next day, and it was fun walking around the little downtown.
I love traveling the coast. I come alive. I love being near the water. I like the communities. I like the towns. I like the general vibe and feel of every place we go to along the coast. So